What's up, visibility hackers? Welcome to this week's episode of the Showcase. You're definitely going to want to pay attention. You're going to want to listen up. If you sell products or services, or if you are in a launch type of business, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to today because we're talking about how to create a show that does just that, that sells our products, that sells our services, and that fits in perfectly with our launch-based business. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm Coach Molle from Visibility Hacking Studios, and thank you so much for joining me for this episode, whether you are here live or you are here on the replay. Let us know how you're doing down in the comments. Let us know where you're coming in from, and let us know if your business sells products, services, info products, or something completely different. Let us know down in the comments. And of course, you can always follow us on all of our social platforms. They are linked down below. Oh man. So today, if you sell products or services, or you sell anything with your content, whether you consider yourself a digital marketer, an entrepreneur, a digital entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. If you want to create content that helps create conversions, then you're going to want to pay attention to today's episode. I want to tell you about our case study today. This is one of my favorite YouTube channels to watch simply because the host of this show is such a joy and brings just kind of a burst of sunshine to my life. And I hope she brings a little burst to your life as well. Today, we're talking about a YouTube channel called Royalty Soaps. Now, Royalty Soaps is a small home-based business. It's a family-run business, and they're using their YouTube channel to be able to connect with their community. They also supplement their YouTube strategy with some Instagram and some stories and some short form content on other platforms, but their main hub of community is their YouTube platform. And they release weekly content that I think is pretty fantastic. They make handmade soaps, and you'd think that that is the furthest thing from a business that could take off and make millions of dollars, but it absolutely can. And so can your business if you use this same strategy. So in today's episode, we're going to break down this channel's strategy, this business's strategy, into steps that you can follow along with at home. So let's look at their channel, why don't we? So we're going to look at 3 different areas that this channel does really, really fantastically, and we're going to break them down so that you can start taking action on these steps as well. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, of course, we're going to talk about community building, and we're going to talk about how the Royalty Soaps team builds community with their content. So first thing is, within their monthly schedule of posts, they'll have certain videos sprinkled throughout. And some of these videos include creating customer designs or follower submitted designs, community designs, we'll call them here. So this way, members of their community, members of their following can create their own designs, they can get creative, and they can actually start shaping the experience that they have with this content. Remember, we're not playing content for the sake of content. We're not just creating videos for the sake of having videos. We're creating moments of connection with our audience. And this is a wonderful way to build that community involvement, because not only are those individuals who have created these community designs going to be able to celebrate the moment that their designs got picked, but also the community as a whole will be able to celebrate the fact that community members got to design something this week. And I think that's really amazing. Another fantastic thing that Katie does here on her channel is connects with her community just by the way that she talks to them. Her videos follow the same kind of pattern every episode, because every episode it's her making a new soap. And we'll talk more about the soaps and the products and stuff later on, but I want to talk about what happens towards the middle end of her episode. There's a part of the soap making process that takes a little bit more time, is a lot more detailed, and is actually really fun to watch. But in order to have some audio that connects, Katie's filled that space, this time-lapse space or this overhead camera space, with her chatting and talking about different things, whether it's things in the soap making world or things that are happening in her life or comments and whatnot that have come up in the community. She's able to fill these couple of minutes of time with much, much more relatable content. Remember, in the visibility hacking world, we talk about authority stories and authority content and relatability stories and relatability content, sorry. And these stories that she's having, these moments of conversation, are those relatability moments within each and every one of her episodes. So she does that really, really well. She speaks to her community. She speaks about her community, just as if you were sitting in a room making soap with her. And I think that's what brings a lot of her community members back over and over and over again, not just because they enjoy the quality of the product that they've purchased from her before or hope to purchase from her in the future. Also in this moment of connection and the way that she talks to people is how she talks about her team. She speaks about her team as if they are family, as if they're there in the room with us, as if we have been longtime friends coming over on a regular basis. And we know these characters, we know these people because they're part of the community and they're part of the family. And it's a wonderful experience. You get to know who her marketers are, who the soap makers are, who the other members of her team are, and you really feel part of that community. And it's all done with her pre-recorded video content. It's absolutely incredible. And she ends every episode as well with another moment of conversation, another moment that is purely designed for connecting with her audience. It's not to sell them her products. It is solely meant for connection. And that is, she ends every episode with a question of the day. Sometimes they relate to maybe the theme of what she was creating in that episode, and sometimes they're completely different. Sometimes they're pulled from those stories that she tells during the making process, and sometimes they're even submitted by members of the community. So it's this awesome way to have this recurring moment, this predictable moment that changes every episode, based entirely on creating connection with her audience. So when it comes to connection, these guys, they do it right. But we know that creating great content is much more than just creating moments of connection. That's super important, but we also have to pay attention to our lights, our cameras, and so on and so forth. And in order to purchase all of those pieces of equipment that we need, we actually have to start selling our products. So how does Royalty Soaps use their videos to sell their products in a way that doesn't feel slimy? Let me show you. So if we go back here to the latest video she had on her channel, this is an episode for a product launch, which we'll talk more about in a moment. But what she does in each of her episodes, let's see if I can get this to run through a lot quicker for you guys, is that she goes through the entire process of making her soaps, making her products. That way, people who are viewing it can see what it's like. They can see what the process is like. But most importantly, what she's doing is separating herself from the crowds. She's actually creating a billboard to show the world why her products are different than everyone else's. We talk about creating epiphany bridges when we talk about marketing messaging. Well, these videos are creating individual moments, individual epiphany bridges where you can say, maybe I connect with the colors or the ingredients or the fact that it's a handmade process or the fact that I'm supporting a small business. Whatever hook in these videos gets you, it's your epiphany bridge to purchasing her products on a regular basis, being part of this community. Because as we talked about before, the videos she creates and the products she creates are so much more because they are encapsulated within an incredibly supportive community, an incredibly welcoming community. And that is super important, my friends. So your products are able to be showcased in a really effective way when you use video. We know this is true because Amazon, which is a platform entirely designed to sell you things, is now putting a ton of resources and energy and money into building out their video portions, their video platforms, not to entertain you like the streaming platform, but to inform you about these products. We talk a lot about creating live shows in order to showcase info products and coaching because process is important. Process is important just as much as highlighting the ways that you can utilize your products in your life or in your customers' lives. So maybe you have a product that you can showcase the creation process, like here on Royalty Soaps, or maybe you have a product that can be better showcased by showing the kinds of problems it solves. So say you have a little gadget, maybe you can showcase in every different episode a different way to use your product, or a different customer who is dealing with some sort of obstacle or whatever. You can show how your product helped them overcome that obstacle. We call this the prescription for success formula, and we talk about it more in our Live Academy program. If you're interested in that, links are also down below. But if you want to create content that is designed to showcase and highlight the products that you are selling, you are putting out into the world, why not use videos to highlight those great benefits, to highlight the way that it helps your ideal customers achieve their dream results? Let's be honest. So let's also talk about launch strategy, because I think this is something that Royalty Soaps does so well. They have this wonderful process of creating that community based on their YouTube channel and the community they build there. And then they use the videos that they create to not only create individual beautiful moments, individual great videos, but each of those videos is part of a larger launch process. So they're really able to leverage the community that they create, because we know if we want to be able to utilize digital marketing in the most effective way possible without wasting all of our money on ads, then we want to rely on building connections and creating and positioning ourselves as the go-to solution within that industry. So let's talk about their beautiful launch strategy. And we will start out by going back to the exact same video. This is the latest video that was released on the Royalty Soaps channel, and it is the launch video for their latest soap collection. So they do collections. So I think it's every month or every couple months they release a new capsule collection. These launch videos are the last video in a month or 2 month long launch sequence. Each of the items within the collection that they launch, so each of the individual soaps within the collection that they launch, gets its own individual video. And at the end of that launch series, where they've gotten to see the making of each and every one of those products, they do one last video where they highlight, usually it's the most fantastic of all of the designs, but then it's also where they highlight and showcase the entire collection so you can see them all together, which is really, really cool. And also, if you think about the sales process in terms of hand holding and walking with your customer through their journey, understanding where they are in that moment and what they need in order to be successful, and helping walk them through each and every one of those steps in that process, we can do that with these videos, like a video launch sequence, in a way that doesn't feel slimy, because each individual video is interesting into and of itself, but also as a whole, they fit as a great way of highlighting and showcasing your product. So let's talk about non-physical products. Let's talk about using the same sequence for a info product, for example. Easy. So you would figure out, what does your customer in that moment know, need to know, do, or have in that moment. Then you create a video on that. And then once they've achieved that, what's that next thing that they need to either know, do, or have? You create a video on that, and so on and so forth until you get to that end result. You can also work backwards from the end result. That works too. But now you have a sequence of videos that make sense individually, but also build upon each other. And you can watch those in sequence. Why that's important, we talked about that on Friday Night Live. So go check that out. It's a fantastic video. We talk about YouTube ads and specifically what kind of content you should be creating in your YouTube platform or in your YouTube strategy in order to generate the most number of conversions at the end of your process, and what your customer journey should look like. So check that one out. It's on our YouTube channel, it's in our Facebook group, and all of that fun stuff. But let's highlight a little bit more of what I think this launch strategy is so good at. So let's just play through a little bit of this. Doesn't need to run through so fast. So we can see that she is highlighting the different soaps that were created within that platform or within that capsule. And she's also branding all of her graphics and her visual authority. And I am very, very excited to see what you guys do when you're pulling out your visual authority into your own shows as well. So that, my friends, is today's episode. Make sure that you check us out. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we give out way more tips, tricks, and strategies. We have daily videos Monday to Friday, live for you on Mondays and Mondays midday, Tuesdays end of day, and of course Friday Night Live. So join us there, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other and just go live. Your people are out there waiting for you.